Okay, so, once again, I'm going to rank the final bosses of the Mario RPGs. This will include all 5 Mario and Luigi's, all 6 Paper Marios. Now that I've played Thousand Year Door, I can make an actual judgment on Shadow Queen, and will include Mario RPG Legend of the 7 Stars. So, to judge all of these bosses, the final and some penultimate bosses that are significant, I will judge them based on ratings out of 10 for difficulty and theme, just like in the original video. However, the third category is originality and design, so some of the latter Bowsers might be getting a few less points. And then this will give us a total of 30, giving us a boss ranking, which I will use to judge which characters are the best final bosses. Now, if some of them are equal in score, I will put it up to personal preference and oftentimes personal experience with that boss. So, firstly, this is an opinion video. So they're my opinions. So if you don't agree, that's fine. Let me know in the comments what you think though, like who you think your favorite of the final bosses is. So anyway, let's get started with the first final boss. In 14th place, we have Sticker Stars Bowser. We all saw this coming, like we all know that I do not like this final boss as much. For difficulty, I gave Sticker Star Bowser a 3 out of 10. Now the reason for this is that Sticker Star Bowser isn't overly difficult, but is just really tiring and tedious. It's just annoying more than difficult. But like, if you don't have certain thing stickers, some phases will not be the easiest. As for theme, 1. As far as final boss themes go, this is pretty low compared to other final boss themes. Other ones are epic, and this is just this. It's just not doing it for me. It doesn't help that I just don't like the soundtrack of Sticker Star as much. It just doesn't sound as good. But this tune, I forget it constantly. It's just not memorable. More people remember Spectacular Finale, really, but which isn't the final boss theme, it's kind of just part of the final phase, though. And to be fair, most people remember that just because of a comment string rather than the actual gameplay. As for the originality and design, 2. For the first 4 phases, this is just Bowser wearing a sticker crown. For the 5th phase, it's just a giant version of Bowser made out of cardboard. There's really nothing special to that. Nothing at all. This boss is insanely unoriginal, uninspired, and the design is poor. Honestly, this is not a good final boss compared to all the others. So, with a total final boss ranking of 6 out of 30, Sticker Star Bowser sets the bar pretty low. Moving on to the next one. In 13th place, I give you Bowser from Paper Mario 64. Now that I have finally completed Paper Mario 64 and got myself around to doing this boss again, I didn't care much about this boss. Difficulty 5 out of 10. And that is justified, because Bowser has attacks that will knock your partner out for 3 turns, which is a lot more turns than you really want your partner to be out for. Bowser will constantly charge his invincibility powers on his Star Rod, which makes you waste a Mario turn to get rid of his invincibility. So, honestly, it's not so much that it's difficult, but it's just a massive hindrance and really tedious as well. As for the themes, plural, 3 out of 10. Like with most of the soundtrack of Paper Mario 64, a little outdated, doesn't sound the best. It's just meh. And, well, I mean, for the Paper Mario soundtrack, this is okay, but So there's this theme, Bowser's Rage, but there's also King of the Koopas is the other theme. And this theme's pretty good as well. This one's better than Bowser's Rage in my opinion, I think. But it's just not cutting it as an epic final boss theme. It's just not as good. As for originality and design, 2. This is literally Bowser holding a magic wand. There is nothing else to it. And he gets a bit bigger as well. He's big Bowser holding a magic wand. There is nothing to it. Now a lot of people are going to say, but this is the first game in the series. He can get away with that. But to you I say this. Look at the first game in the Mario and Luigi series, Superstar Saga. The final boss, not Bowser. Or partially was Bowser in the first phase of it, but it wasn't fully Bowser, it was Bowser possessed. But still, not just plain Bowser. The final boss was Cackletta's soul. And that was epic. So if you tell me that the first game in a series can just use basic final boss Bowser because it's the first, you are wrong. That's not a justifiable reason. With that, I've given Bowser a final boss ranking of 10 out of 30, which I guess is somewhat respectable, get a third of the points. Now, on to numbers 12 and 11, who both scored the same number of points, so it's just up to personal preference at this point. Number 12 is Smithy from Super Mario RPG. So, for difficulty I gave him a 4. I mean, the boss isn't too difficult, to be honest. I mean, he's got a bit of challenge to him, but as long as you're a high enough level, it's not too difficult. Especially if you have Peach on your team to heal you. That's useful. As for the theme, I can't say much for the theme. It's not final boss material if you ask me. And considering that this game has such an amazing regular boss theme in Fight Against an Armed Boss, I expected more from final boss. It's okay. It's better than Sticker Star, but come on, no. For originality and design, Smithy gets most of his points from this. He got 7 out of 10. Because, come on, this is a really original boss fight. Like, first phase is meh. But second phase, like, he shifts between these 4 versions of himself constantly throughout. And that's interesting because none of the other bosses really do that. With the exception of King Ollie. Now, he shifts constantly between 4 phases. I believe he has a treasure chest, a safe, like a mage, and a tank form. All of which have different abilities as well, which is really cool. So, I give him props for that, that's pretty good. Originality. Design, well, it's Super Mario RPG. He looks outdated. This game could really benefit from a redo. But, you know, this is pretty decent for its time. So, I gotta give fair credit to Smithy for the originality and design department. But this gives him an overall score of 13 out of 30. On to number 11, who shares the 13 out of 30 score, but I do prefer just a little more. Yes, that would be Count Black from Super Paper Mario. Now, Count Black has a difficulty score of 3. Let's be honest. Super Paper Mario is an easy game. Really easy. It's a platformer, but I like that about it. I like that it's an easy game. But if we look at the difficulty, it's, you know how it is. It's just not that difficult, so it doesn't get many points. But on the basis of difficulty compared to other characters in Super Paper Mario, he's pretty difficult, with some of his attacks being quite hard to dodge. And the fact that he can just slow down time. So that's pretty cool. As for his theme, well, I gave him a 6. Now, the reason I gave him a 6 is because Count Black has amazing themes in this game. Like, all of his themes are just amazing. but it definitely doesn't feel quite epic enough for final battle, which is understandable considering this is a penultimate boss, but you know, there's definitely better out there, but there's definitely also much worse, so I'll give him a solid 6. Originality Design, 4. Now, I give him the 4 points mainly because he has an epic design as a character, and he's an original villain. However, Count Bleck does not change at all throughout this game. He pretty much always looks the same, like, with exception of after he's defeated, like, his mouth and the one eye you could see goes blue instead of red. That's the only change he gets in the game. Like, he doesn't have a final form, he doesn't have a battle form, he's just Count Bleck himself. Which I guess is okay, because you're only fighting them once, but still, would have been nice to see him get a little more powered up, you know? Now, the reason I chose Count Bleck over Smithy is just personal preference, because I really, really like Count Bleck, and he's probably my favourite character in any Paper Mario, Mario Luigi, in any Mario game. Maybe just in anything at all ever, Count Bleck's probably my favourite character. So I gotta give him the win over Smithy. Plus, really, let's be honest, a lot more people remember Count Bleck than Smithy. So Count Bleck rounds his score off with a nice 13 out of 30. In 10th place, Black Bowser. Now, this is going to seem strange that I would ever put Black Bowser above Count Bleck, but there is logic, of course. For his difficulty, I gave him a 5, because let's be honest, unless you're good at counter-attacking, this boss is going to be your nightmare. Lucky for me, I'm okay at the counter-attacks, the dodging, you know, gotta hold up Huey the paint can to absorb his black paint, but also the fact he has quite a lot of health. And I made a mistake of bringing a lot of things stickers to that fight, and a lot of things stickers don't do very much. So, yeah. He's got difficulty. I'll give him that. He's not the easiest, but he's definitely not that hard. Theme 6. The theme, it speaks for itself. Listen to it. Listen to Blackout. This theme is too good. But I only gave it a 6 because there are better themes. But this theme is so good. Man. It's like the whole of the Color Splash OST is just like so much better than like the original Paper Mario and Sticker Star, and this soundtrack is epic. As for originality and design, I had to give him a 3. This is where he failed, because, let's face it, I gave Sticker Star Bowser a 2 for just being Bowser but bigger with the crown, and Bowser from 64 a 2 for just being Bowser but bigger with a wand. This is Bowser but bigger with black paint. But I gave him a 3 because the black paint, at least it was a little bit of a nice do-over. It was Bowser doing something and more he got possessed, which I know is an overused thing, Bowser getting possessed by stuff, but it's a little more original than just basic Bowser decided to get big. So, you know, I gave him a 3. Black Bowser looks kind of cool as well. So, we finish off Black Bowser with 14 out of 30, only slightly above Black and Smithy. Now, for the next one, the next two got at the same score again, so again I went to personal preference. Shiny Robo Bowser comes in 9th place. Now, Shiny Robo Bowser gets a difficulty of 5, because his attacks may not be the hardest attacks to dodge, but man, he is relentless. Like, some of his attacks, the guy's gonna punch Mario, then Luigi, then Mario, then Luigi, then Mario, then Luigi, and then spit a fireball at Paper Mario. Like, literally, he will attack all of your team members in one turn. He is relentless. And if you try and use a trio attack on him too early, he's gonna smack a trio attack right back at you. He's got his own trio hammer. He's 2 Bowsers and he has a trio attack. But, so yeah, there's a little bit of difficulty there, just a little bit. He's not too difficult. And all you gotta do is break his armor and then beat him up. He's just got his one part, really. break his armor, then you can bring out the trio attacks on him. I suggest trio kite myself, I quite like using that one. So yeah, difficulties, he's not too bad, but he's not too good. As for the theme, oh man, I have grown to appreciate this theme a lot more since the last time I did one of these rankings, and man, shiny Robo Bowser! 6 again, but epic theme, on par with Black Bowser's theme Blackout and Count Black's closing battle theme. Like, they're all on par here. Like, a lot of my themes are going to get a rating of 6 because they're all pretty on par. I have 5 themes that have been rated 6. I have 5 themes that are above, and 4 themes that are below, and you've heard 3 of them already. But man, this is just so good. Like, if there is one thing I can tell you is definitively good about Paper Jam, it is this theme. Maybe the final boss isn't as good as some of the other final bosses, but the theme is too good. It's actually the only theme I remember from this game. It's the only theme that is memorable to me. It's too good. Okay, as for the originality and design, 4. Mostly because Bowser in a mech suit is kind of cool, let's be honest. But, firstly, it's made out of cardboard, which if you ask me, for a guy who spits fire, that's kind of a poor choice. Sure, make your arm out of a flammable substance. And, well, it's just another giant Bowser merged with Paper Bowser into this mech. I mean, Bowsers really? I mean, giant Bowsers? I mean, Bowsers in general in Mario and Luigi are overused, but giant Bowser? Really? Again? We had 2 giant Bowsers in Dream Team. We don't need another one, man. So, I lost the originality a little bit there, but the design, I'll give him some props there. So, score of 15 out of 30. 50% mark, that's not bad. Yeah, okay, so number 8 is Dark Bowser and the Dark Star Core. Yeah, for difficulty, this is gonna annoy some people, but the difficulty rating of this boss is 4. 4 for Fawful. Because, hear me out. So before this, we just fought Dark Fawful, who has a move that is so devastating it could end you in one turn. I'm talking about the move where he spins those dark energy balls around him and you gotta punch the Goomba into him, and if you don't, he could pretty much end you in one turn. But you get to this boss, and firstly, you got Bowser v Dark Bowser, and Dark Bowser's attacks are a little easy to dodge, really. They're a bit easy. And then once you do enough and you get Dark Fawful inside you, you get Mario and Luigi fighting the Dark Star Core. Now, that bit's a little harder, but take out the eyes, take out the appendages. It's actually a little harder on the remake because all of his appendages disappear while he has eyes. Take out his eyes, take out his appendages, just use some badge powers to increase your power and just take out the core. So it's pretty easy. As for the theme, okay, so anybody who's anybody in the Mario and Luigi fan base is going to know In the Final is one of the top tier themes. So I gave it a 7 out of 10, putting it above actually all my other Mario and Luigi themes. So, oh wait, most of them, sorry, one of them is a bit higher. In the Final, or the grand finale, is definitely one of the best final boss themes, and man, it is epic, it is truly epic, it fits the moment so well. But it's a 7, there are other themes I feel are a little better, mainly coming from the Paper Mario side. Not many though, there's only 3 themes I've put higher than this. There's 1 that's equal, but 3 that are higher, because this theme is just really good. Okay, as for the originality and design, 4. Okay, now it's going to annoy some people. The 4 points mainly go to Dark Star Core for being this unique design of 4-4 and insanity. Dark Bowser is just Bowser but with the new colour scheme, to be honest, and slightly different hair. it's not that much to write home about for originality. But Dark Star Core originality, points. Points, points, points. I mean, sure, the whole many appendages thing has been done, but points. He looks cool. He's got the eyes, and then he's got the Dark Star Core on the top that you just can't reach until you destroy everything else, and everything else doesn't respawn like instantly. So yeah, I get some originality. It gets some design and originality there. It also gets some points for originality because Dark Force was kind of a new thing. Force's never been a final boss before. I mean, sure, part of the final boss is another type of Bowser, but it's not just another type of Bowser, so that's okay. Overall, this gives Dark Bowser and Dark Star Core 15 out of 30, solid 50% again. Same with Shiny Robo Bowser, but I gave Dark Bowser and Dark Star Core the higher position just because I like them just a little bit more. On to the next one. Of course, in 7th place is Super Dementio. Right, so let's get started. The difficulty for this boss is 2. Man, this boss is easy. I'm pretty sure that's the lowest difficulty rating I've given any... Yes, it is. It's the lowest difficulty rating I've given out to any of these bosses. There's 2 3s, a Sticker Star Bowser for being just tiring and boring, and then Count Black, who's slightly harder than Super Dementio, but like I said with Count Black, Super Paper Mario is a really easy game, like really easy game. Getting a game over is kind of difficult in this game. But Super Dementio, I mean, come on. He's definitely not a 1 because he's harder than like O-Chunks, or I tell you what, Mimi is actually a little difficult at some points. But Super Dementio is easier than Count Black. Super Dementio's moves are just a little easier to dodge, except for the flying little blocks that go everywhere, but they don't do that much damage. And I suppose they're easy enough to avoid if you're good enough. So, Super Dementio, yeah, he gets 2 out of 10. Super Paper Mario is an easy game. It lets him down. Theme. Oh, man. You all saw this coming. 9 out of 10. I pretty much refuse to give out any 10s this time because, let's face it, every theme has a flaw. This theme is epic! I will not ever stop saying how good the Super Paper Mario soundtrack is because this game has the best soundtrack in any Mario RPG, and I will debate that with you if you disagree. This soundtrack is too good, but this song, this is the reason that Count Black didn't feel like a good final boss theme in comparison is because it compared to this. It had this to compete with. This theme is too good, like seriously, too good. Perfect. It's the perfect mix as well with Dementio's regular battle theme, It's Showtime. It just works. As for originality and design, we're going to go with a 5. Originality. Yeah, this is original. For once, you took Luigi as part of your main bad guy. Crossed it with Dementio to get basically a lanky Luigi in a dress. Let's be honest. But this is a pretty cool design, and sure, the design's not that fleshed out. It's literally just a head, 2 hands, 2 feet, a body, and a bunch of crosses between all of them to make ligaments. But, you know, it's a cool design. Advice, try not to get Bowser stuck between Super Dementio's feet. It'll be difficult to get out without switching back to Mario. But, yeah, the design's okay. I mean, it's not the most, like, awe-inspiring or creepy or, like, intimidating, but it's there. It's pretty cool. So, I give Super Dementio a 16 out of 30. It's a pretty good score. On to the next one. In 6th place, we have Dreamy Bowser. Now, the reason I put Dreamy Bowser in 6th as opposed to his higher ranking in the in my other ranking video I did of this. Well, Dreamy Bowser. His difficulty's a 6, because let's face it, Dreamy Bowser has a lot of health, he can refill his health, he has an army of minions, he has 2 other arms that do stuff. The left arm's not as important, but the right arm will block attacks to his head. But you only have to defeat his right arm to get to his head, rather than having to do both arms. So he's a little more basic than some of the older bosses of the series. As for the theme, 5. Now this is the lowest rating I've given to a Mario & Luigi boss. Most of them have gotten 6s, one of them got 7, one of them got a little higher than that, and one of them now has 5. Because Dreamy Bowser is, well, the theme's okay. It's, like right now, it's got its epic moment. It has its epic moments. But it's just not quite as epic as some of the other final bosses. Like, I mean, okay, this is a pretty good theme, but I don't feel it quite fits the character as well as some of the other themes fit their characters. And then with Originality Design, we're dealing with a 6 out of 10 for that too. Now, I couldn't give this one too many points, because it is just another Bowser, and it's another big Bowser at that. But the design of him being merged with the Dreamstone is kinda cool. Like, we're talking about Bowser who literally became a god at this point. He gave himself godly powers by inhaling the shattered pieces of the Dreamstone. And he's got this slick rainbow design, which is kinda cool. See, the design's pretty cool. I mean, but if you take away his flashy colours, it's just another Bowser. It's just another big Bowser. But he has some cool attacks as well that come with his design, so, you know. And originality, of course it's another Bowser, but compared to the other Bowsers, this one's pretty original with his colour scheme and, you know. Being a Bowser that isn't just easily defeatable and just like actually blocks his weak point by putting his right arm up, that's kind of cool. But overall, Dreamy Bowser scores 17 out of 30. On to the next one, we're in the top 5 now, so here we go. Oh my gosh! Number 5 is King Ollie. Now, this is a big step up from where I rated him last time. I have grown a lot more of a love for King Ollie as a final boss. So firstly, let's start with his difficulty, because that's the disappointing part. We'll get that out of the way with. 4. Now, if you haven't played Origami King yet, last time I gave you a spoiler warning, but this time, it has been more than a year now, so you brought this upon yourself. If you don't want spoilers, move forward now, but come on, play the game already, if you haven't already beaten it. I've beaten it 3 times already. So, King Ollie, 4. The reason I give him a 4 is because his first phase, he just becomes the 4th elementals, which is what I was talking about earlier with Smithy about transforming between 4 forms. However, Smithy does it randomly whenever he wants. King Ollie, he takes a form and he won't change until you defeat that form, and then you'll pick another one sort of randomly. Now, if you're lucky, you might end up getting the Earth Elemental followed by the Water Elemental. This is a good combo. If you get the Ice Elemental, some people have issues with the Ice Maze. I don't, but if you're really stuck with the Ice Maze, just abuse the recording feature that the Switch has. You know, press the little square button and hold it for about 10 seconds or something, and you get a 30-second video of the past 30 seconds of your gameplay, in which you can look at the maze before it gets shuffled. But other than that, you know, that's not difficult. Now, if he selects the Fire Elemental, oh ho ho, you might just be in a bad position. The reason I say this is, if you try to use your 1000-fold arms a little too early, you know, he's just going to refill all of his health. Also, with the Ice Elemental, take too long, he re-heals himself. So, if you're lucky, you'll get the Earth and Water Elementals, and it's an easy day. You only have to fight the 2. Now, as for his other phases of difficulty, Phase 2 is pretty easy, it's just a basic button mashing thing. And Phase 3, well, that's just solving a puzzle and timing dodges, which is essentially what the Mario and Luigi games have been training you to do. So, you know, it's just pretty easy boss. Now we get to the good part. Theme. 8 out of 10. This is very high in my ranking of the themes, so that's a good ranking. Firstly, what you're hearing right now is Battle with King Ollie, one of the best tunes of Paper Mario games when it comes to boss battles, because this is epic, and this is probably one of my favourite tunes from the Origami King itself. It's just so good, like, honestly, it is just too good. Like most of the soundtrack of this game. I know I said a similar thing about Color Splash earlier, but I will take Origami King over Color Splash. Just give me this theme. This is good. But then there's this other theme. There's the other one. Now there is a Phase 2 theme, but who wants the Phase 2? Who wants the Phase 2 theme when I can play you the Phase 3 theme? This theme. Yes. This theme is just so epic for a Phase 3 of a final boss. Man, like, you know, it starts, it's building up, it's got a little bit of tension getting in there. Then we break down into this bit, and this bit is just... this bit's beautiful. I just cannot get enough of the battle with King Ollie and this theme, which is just called the final battle, I believe. Yeah, just the final battle. But man, when he gets this bit, and the vocals in this game, just wow. Vocals in Paper Mario music, they just hit differently. Man. See, this bit, like, just the vocals, it sounds like it should just be, like, Ollie and Olivia talking to each other, which is perfect, because honestly, at this point, Olivia's been trying to convince Ollie not to wipe out all the Toads, because of a Toad scribbling on him. Olivia's trying to reason with Ollie and talk to him about love, and Ollie's just rejecting all of this and wants his perfect Origami Kingdom. So like this whole fight really is just a struggle between Ollie and Olivia. And that part of the theme really just shows it. Now that we get to Originality and Design, I've given King Ollie a 6 out of 10. Because Originality, like, compared to other final bosses, it's good. But within the game, your first phase, you've just copied all 4 of Elementals, mate. You've just copied the Elementals. So, points deducted for that. Phase 2, that was something unexpected. That was just some sumo wrestling between a giant Origami Ollie and a giant Origami Bowser. That was pretty unexpected, and man, that was a good design. And Phase 3, I mean, it was just Giant Ollie, which reuses the whole giant thing again with its enemies, so I had to deduct some points there. But man, King Ollie is just awesome. Like, so overall, he gets a rating of 18 out of 30. So, we started with our mare bosses down at Sticker Star Bowser, 64 Bowser, Smithy, and Count Black. We got to our, like, Grade A final bosses of Black Bowser, Dark Bowser, Super Dementio, Dreamy Bowser, and King Ollie. Next up, we're going to get to the S tier stuff. So, stay tuned for these final 4. But before that, we need to listen to this one more time. La 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 la. This tune is epic. Too good. There's the drum roll I needed for number 4, Elder Princess Shrew. Yeah, EPS has dropped down in the rankings just a little bit from her previous spot in 3rd place. She is now 4th. There is a good reason for this. Firstly, difficulty. Last time I put her at a 10, but this time I put her as a 9. The reason I did this is because difficulty, this is how difficult a boss should be. Now, the Elder Princess Shroob is just a little too difficult for my liking, and I don't like a boss to be too difficult, so I had to put her basically beyond 10 back down to a 9. You know, like an 11 out of 10 thing, so 9. Because Elder Princess Shroob is essentially Cackletta's soul, but way too much over the top. Like, I mean, sure, if you're gonna copy someone, copy them but better, but still, this is too much. Like, Cackletta does the whole spinning arms thing, and then Elder Princess Shroob's just like, nope, let's have spinning legs. But how about, instead of just 2 legs, let's give you 3 now. Oh, how about this? Now let's give you 4 of them. I can't jump that fast. And then there's the 4 arms you have to deal with. I mean, come on, 4 arms, really? And, I mean, you don't even need to defeat those, but they're still going to be there. Then there's the crown, which you have to defeat to get to the head to do any decent damage to Elder Princess Shroob. So, it's a little bit, you know, a little bit too much, too many parts to work with. I've gone slightly into design here. Anyway, theme, 6 out of 10. Now, since the last time I did rank the themes, I've grown to appreciate this theme a little bit more. This theme this is a perfect orchestral theme for going between like super high epics and then like a low epic. Like, not like low level of epic, but I mean, it's like a slower, like quieter, but still really epic. It's all epic. But you look at this theme and you're like, okay, serious final boss. What do you imagine this fight being against? It doesn't fit giant freaky monster princess mushroom thing. It doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. I love this theme so much right now, but it does not fit with the giant, ugly, creepy monster mushroom thing you're fighting. It's just... that's why it doesn't get as many points. Because the theme isn't just about how good the theme is. The theme ranking is about how well it fits with the character. How well it fits with the final boss. If this theme was like a little different, or the boss was a little different, it fit each other a little better, this could be like a grade 8 theme. But, you know, maybe even a grade 9 like Super Dementio, but... I mean, Super Dementio, it called back to its Showtime Dementio's theme, so that really fit with the character. This does not fit with Elder Princess Shroob, and that hurts, really, because this theme's too good. Now, as for the originality and design, 7, because, hey, the final boss isn't Bowser! Even though afterwards you will face, like, a final boss who is basically Shrowser, who is Bowser, but no one really called Shrowser the true final boss, so it's all good. So we all consider Elder Princess Shroob as the real final boss, and, well, this is an original design. It's a Shroob like pretty much all other enemies in this game, but it's an epic Shroob. It is an absolutely epic Shroob, who looks quite significantly different to all of the other Shroobs in the game, might I add. Now, however, the originality goes down because you can tell this boss was just heavily inspired by Cackletta's soul. What with the multiple appendages, having to destroy certain parts to get to the weak part, even some of the attacks are similar. It's just, you know, it's copying a little bit. But the design's pretty epic, so I had to give her a 7. Which overall brings Elder Princess Shroob to a 22 out of 30. That's a pretty good score. Next up, we're in the top 3. Man, that is an epic tune. Number 3, I give you Antasma, the Bat King of Nightmares. Now, let's get straight into the difficulty. 7. I gave Antasma a 7. Because This battle takes place in a dreamy world, so your main power in this battle is Dreamy Luigi being on your side, giving you the power of illusionary attacks. Antasma has the goal to take Dreamy Luigi from you and shove him into an Antasmunchi. So then you have to defeat the Antasmunchi, and you have to remember which one it is as well, to be able to free Dreamy Luigi. Or he might even eat Dreamy Luigi. But, you know, he took your strongest weapon. That means you're left with bland Mario who can just jump and use hammer. Not even a special jump and hammer like usually in the Dream World, just a regular jump and a regular hammer. And that is not enough to beat Antasma. But once you get Dreamy Luigi back, everything is fine. And, well, some of his attacks are a bit difficult. If he hits you with an attack and you end up with the nightmare status, you just end up running through a nightmare forever until you can find a way out through one of the portals. So, have fun being chased by giant Antasma for a while. Antasma's other attacks are... some are easy enough to dodge, some are a bit harder. But, man, difficulty's up there. 7 out of 10. As for the theme, 8 out of 10. I gave him the same as King Ollie. Now, 8 out of 10, because Antasma's theme. This theme is just way too good. Man, it fits as well. It has a lot of the similar sounds to Antasma's regular theme, so it links with this character, like, really well. And man, it gives you that, like, nightmarish, dreamy feel. Like, because it's in the dream world, but nightmarish, and it works so well. It works so well! Now, as for his originality and design, he's not Bowser, let's give him some points. Antasma gets a 7 out of 10, because Antasma is an epic design. Like, I mean, just in general, in his true form and in his bat form, Antasma is pretty cool. But in his battle form, see what I did there? Okay, but in his battle form, he is just this epic being of his true form, but with these, like, creepy arms. He's just got, like, this, he's got this cape as well. Now, oh my man, this guy is epic. This guy is epic. Like, this is the kind of thing that is, like, fits a nightmare realm. Like, truly, this is a good design, and this is original. Antasma is probably one of the most original characters in the Mario and Luigi series for the final bosses. Because, well, Antasma and Cackletta are the really original ones. Because all the others, they just do versions of Bowser, or they copy the moves of others previously. Antasma, however, does not do such a thing. But I suppose some of Antasma's moves are a little similar to Cackletta's in the sense that turns himself into a bunch of bats and flies at him, creates copies of himself occasionally. But no, he does it in his own unique way, and well, Antasma does his job well. Antasma's a great villain. Shame he doesn't really get to do much after you beat him. He kind of just makes some screedy noises and then blows up. But Antasma. Now, we're going to listen to this bit of theme, because this is the best bit. That was epic. Okay, on to number 2! Number 2. Oh yes, number 2. Shadow Queen. Now here's the difference between this time and last time. Last time I hadn't played the 1000-Year Door. Now I have, and now I can attest to the difficulty level of the Shadow Queen. So I gave her an 8 out of 10 this time, which is one of the highest difficulty ratings I've given out. I gave a 9 to Elder Princess Shroob. I won't spoil what I gave to Cackletta's Soul, but all the others are 8 or lower. So Shadow Queen, difficult, difficult, difficult. We're constantly respawning hands that are just going to attack you. High power moves, and, well, Shadow Queen is difficult. She got hard moves. She got multiple phases as well that also have very high attacking, hard-hitting moves. The difficulty's up there. She got a lot of health. Now the theme I gave a 7. Now if I'm comparing this theme to some of the other themes just alone by itself, this theme wouldn't rank so high. But this theme gets a lot of points for just being so perfectly fitting for Shadow Queen, like theme-wise. Like, this theme is like the perfect balance of creepy and epic to pretty much describe the Shadow Queen, so I gotta give good credit for that. Originality and design. Originality and design. It's a final boss that isn't Bowser! I'm giving her loads of points for that. But, not only is that final boss that isn't Bowser, possessed Bowser, or Bowser transformed, it's a possessed version of Princess Peach, and you would not have expected that. If I told you the final boss of a Mario game was going to be Princess Peach, you'd be pretty surprised. But man, it worked. It really worked. Similarly to how the final boss of Super Paper Mario was just Luigi, but mixed with Chaos Heart and Dementio. This is the Shadow Queen, the spirit of a 1,000-year-old demon witch thing that was trapped behind the 1,000-year door that has possessed Princess Peach, and oh man, it's too epic. It's just a really epic design. It's super original as well. 8 out of 10. The only thing I have to say about it not getting full marks on originality is just because it's not a completely original character. It's still got Princess Peach there, who we've known for way too many games and gets kidnapped too many times. That's the only reason I can't give it higher. But otherwise, that is some top level originality and design right there. Which rounds Shadow Queen off at 23. A note to make earlier, Antasma and Elder Princess Shrew both got 22. I rated Antasma higher just for personal preference. On to number 1. Number 1. We all saw this coming. We know my stance on this boss, and nothing has changed, really, since the last time I ranked this boss. It's still number 1, Cackletta's Soul. Original, not remake. I will do a video explaining every reason why the original is better than the remake. But, for now, let's just focus on Cackletta's Soul. Difficulty, 10 out of 10. Because this is the perfect balance of difficulty. Not too difficult like Elder Princess Shroob. Perfect balance of difficulty. Superstar Saga is an easy game. Really, it's pretty easy game. But, you get to this boss, and everything changes. First of all, you're going to start off with 1 HP. And unless your speed stat's high enough or you have an item that helps you out, like a piece of gear, Cackletta's Soul's gonna get the first move, and, well, if you're really unlucky, she'll pull out the whole spinning arm attack thing on you, and you'll just be caught in an endless loop of game overs and dying from the spinning arms. However, I got Mario's speed high enough that I could go first. And I took out the head in 1 turn, so I then used the max nut. My next turn, everything's good. The max nut is your best friend. Trust me. So, Cackletta's Soul, difficulty, very difficult. She has a lot of attacks. A lot of them you have to learn, like you have to learn which hand controls the fire attacks and which hand controls the thunder attacks, which is given away in the remake, which isn't necessary. It's not like it was that hard to remember that the left hand was the fire and the right hand was the thunder. And then we're dealing with other attacks, like the one where loads of different coloured energy balls start popping up around the screen. You gotta think, oh my gosh, this one's over there, it's over there, it's over there, oh my gosh, it's hit Mario. And, well, it doesn't work well for me because that one move really lags on the Wii U Virtual Console, but... And then there's the move where Forful's Ghost appears, and then there's the dreaded spinning arms. The spinning arms are so difficult to dodge. I mean, I don't care if you're going to tell me that I just need to look at her eyes and if they're up, her arms are going up, if they're down, her arms are going down. Because that's not enough. It's still difficult. Because, like, just like with the perspective, it's difficult to tell when Mario needs to jump over the arms. And then at some point, she just randomly changes the direction of her spinning arms, like, halfway through, and that is not necessary. There's also that one really weird move where she decides to stop time and it sounds like your game's starting to break down. Yeah, Cackletta's Soul. Difficult. As for the theme, 6 out of 10. The theme is not so special by itself, but with Cackletta's Soul, I think, given the setting that you're fighting a giant scary ghost, basically, inside the fiery hells of Bowletta's inside story, you've pretty much got this set up as a theme that just really suits. It's hard to explain why this fits so well, but it really does. As for originality and design, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, because wow, this is a big change from Cackletta's first form that we fought her in when we defeated her like halfway through the game. It's a really, like, intimidating design as well. Like, this thing is creepy. This thing will haunt people. Like, look at the eyes. Look at her eyes. The bloodshot. That is creepy. And the design's pretty epic too. Like, the design-wise, like, technically, you got the 2 arms, you got the head. Defeat them, the heart is exposed, and that's all good. My main issue with the design that holds it from getting a 10 out of 10 is just that the head. The head. If you hit her head and it doesn't kill her, she will unleash some very strong attacks on you. Especially if she has both of her arms left, because if she has both of her arms and you hit her head, you're practically guaranteeing the spinning arm attack that's going to end you instantly. But if you can knock it out in one move, that's fine. But also, you know, if you knock out one of her arms first, she can't use the spinning arms. The other thing is that between turns, like, if the heart's exposed, she will heal all other parts of her body. So if you decide to attack an arm and say, hey, I'll get rid of an arm so she can't use the spinning arms, I'll get rid of her head so she can't use the spinning arms, she will heal those parts with the heart and use the spinning arms. Yeah. And more than that, you then didn't get to attack the heart while it was exposed before it recedes back in after 3 turns. On the remake, it recedes back into her a lot faster, so really, every chance you get, attack the heart. Like, even if you think you're about to die, just attack the heart now, heal later. But other than that, really, this is a really good final boss. This is my favourite final boss. No doubt. Final score, 25 out of 30. Yeah, it slipped a little bit since the last time I rated Cackletta's Soul, but it still reigns supreme. So, all hail the Queen Cackletta. So that's it, that rounds up my ranking of the final bosses once again. After reviewing the old one, I decided this very much needed redoing, because I made some poor choices in the original ranking I did. Ollie and Antasma were too low, Shadow Queen was too low, Super Dementio was a little too high, to be honest. So I made some changes. I reevaluated things after playing a lot of the RPGs recently, and playing a lot of Final Battles recently. I made more respectable opinions here. Obviously, my opinions. Cackletta's Soul's my number 1. Great final boss. So to round up real quick, 14 Sticker Star Bowser, 13 Paper Mario 64 Bowser, 12 Smithy, 11 Count Black, 10 Black Bowser, 9 Shiny Robo Bowser, 8 Dark Bowser and Dark Star Core, 7 Super Dementio, 6 Dreamy Bowser, 5 King Ollie, 4 Elder Princess Shroob, 3 Antasma, 2 Shadow Queen, and 1 Cackletta's Soul. Anyway, this has been really fun to rank them all again, and you will be expecting a redo of ranking the final boss themes. So, yeah, we'll get to that soon. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave your opinions of ranking these bosses. You can rank them all, or just give me your top 3, or just your top 1 if you want, or your favourite and least favourite. Leave your opinions in the comments section. I'm interested to see what you people think. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, etc, etc. Thanks for watching, and ciao.